After 30 years of hiking and backpacking, I've seen some things go wrong on the trail. Not big drama movie moments, but small situations that suddenly became real emergencies. I've seen hikers run out of water miles from the trailhead. I've seen hypothermia set in what started off being a beautiful summer day. I've watched somebody twist their ankle so badly that they couldn't take another step. And once, I spent over an hour sitting with an injured runner deep in the mountains, just trying to keep him calm while we waited for help to arrive. But something that scared me the most out on trail wasn't even something I saw myself. It was something that someone else told me about. A few years ago, I was hiking on the Colorado Trail with my son. We'd been out on the trail a couple weeks, and it was just another normal day. The mountains were beautiful. The forests were quiet. There was really nothing unusual about the day. And we came across another backpacker who started telling me a story. He said he'd been walking down the trail that day when he all of a sudden realized that there was a mountain lion laying just off the trail. This thing was so close that he could have touched it with his trekking pole. Now, normally when you're out in the backcountry and somebody tells you a story like that, you just shrug it off and you're like, yeah, sure, whatever. But for some reason, this one got stuck in my head. Because when I was younger, I had actually seen a panther out in the wild once. And another time when I was out hunting as a teenager, late in the evening, I ended up hearing a mountain lion scream. And if you've ever heard that, you don't forget it. So for the next couple days out on the trail, every single sound made me turn my head. Every movement I heard in the trees made me stop and look, because suddenly the wilderness didn't feel quite as empty as it had before. And that's the thing about the trail. Sometimes the most powerful fears you can have out here are the ones that you don't even see. But mountain lions aren't actually the emergencies I've seen the most. The real dangers that I normally see on trail a lot are normally a lot simpler. After decades of hiking, I've learned something about emergencies in the backcountry. They almost never start big. They start small. Someone forgets a headlamp. Someone pushes a little too far. Or someone maybe just underestimates the weather. And suddenly, what was a normal hike turns into a serious problem. One of the most common emergencies I've seen is someone running out of water. It sounds simple, but dehydration in the mountains happens a lot faster than people think. I've come across hikers sitting on the side of the trail looking exhausted and confused. Sometimes they underestimate how long the hike would take. Sometimes they ended up passing the last water source before they even realized it. I've handed out water to strangers more than once, and every time it reminded me how quick things can change out here. Because when you're miles from the trailhead, something as simple as water becomes extremely important. Another one that people underestimate is hypothermia. Most people think hypothermia is a winter problem, but I've seen it start during summer storms in the mountains. It's a nice warm day, it's clear skies, and then suddenly out of nowhere a thunderstorm rolls in. There's wind, rain, and the temperature starts dropping, and then someone ends up getting soaked. And within an hour, they're shivering uncontrollably. That's the kind of situation that can get very serious quickly if you're not prepared. Then there's injuries. The trail doesn't have to be dangerous for somebody to get injured. Sometimes it's just one bad step. A twisted ankle. You end up falling on some loose rock. Last year I was running a 50K race in the mountains, and I came across a guy who had gotten seriously injured off trail. He couldn't move. He couldn't hike out. So I sat with him for over an hour, just talking to him, trying to keep him calm and conscious while we waited for help to come. Because when you're injured deep in the wilderness, the hardest part often is waiting. Another emergency that I've seen more times than I can count is people getting lost. Usually it starts the same way. People just leave the trail just for a minute. Maybe they think they see a shortcut. Maybe they're trying to find a better view. And suddenly, the trail disappears behind them. Now they're standing in the forest, not sure which direction to go. And the wilderness gets big very quickly in that situation. Nightfall has also caused a lot of problems for hikers. People underestimate how fast darkness can approach. You end up thinking that you've got plenty of time. And then suddenly the sun drops below the ridgeline and everything changes. The trail gets harder to see. The temperatures start dropping, and every step starts to feel more uncertain. That's when small mistakes start to happen. And here in Colorado, altitude sickness catches a lot of people by surprise. Someone who feels perfectly fine at the trailhead can suddenly feel dizzy, nauseous, or exhausted when they get higher up. Altitude's one of those things you can't force yourself through. Your body is going to decide whether or not you're ready for it or not. After 30 years on trail, I've learned something important. The wilderness isn't out there trying to hurt you, but it does demand respect. And almost every emergency I've seen out there started the same way. A small mistake, a moment of overconfidence, or someone just pushing a little further than they should have. But I've also seen something else on the trail. People helping strangers. People sharing their water. People stopping to help somebody who's injured. And just people looking out for each other. Because when you're out there in the mountains, we're all a part of the same community. And if there's one thing that the trail has taught me after all these years, it's this. Stay calm, know your limits, respect the wilderness, and take care of each other. Because sometimes the difference between a great adventure and a serious emergency is just one small decision. If you want to learn how to avoid the most common backpacking emergencies, I made another video about small mistakes that turn into search and rescue moments. And if you spend any time in the wilderness, it's going to be something every backpacker should know. As always, guys, I hope this was useful to you. And hopefully, I see you out on the trail.